We are back, and Mr. Pauline is on the line. Hello, sir. MHA for Mount Pearl South.
Pete, how are you doing this afternoon?
Wonderful. Good to hear from you again. What's new?
Well, Pete, I'm not a happy camper this afternoon, I got to be honest.
Okay.
Pete, as you know, we had a school reorganization process which took place in the city of Mount Pearl. And as a result, I guess, of that, there was a decision made by the new English School Board, a decision which I and many teachers, students, parents, and so on in my district believe is going to be detrimental to the education of the students in my district. And, you know, Pete, on numerous of occasions, I've raised this issue. I've raised it on all of the open line shows. I've raised it in other media. I've presented a number of petitions in the House of Assembly. I've taken much of my speaking time during the budget process to speak about this issue. And at every opportunity, I continue to raise the issue. I did up a mail out which I had hand delivered to every door, to everyone in my district, to let them know what was going on, the actions I'd been taking, and I held a public meeting. And you know, Pete, all this was in an effort to try to convince the Minister of Education, the then Minister of Education, that the decision that was made here was flawed and that it needed to be revisited. Now, unfortunately, the former Minister of Education, Minister Jackman, didn't see fit to look into this matter and to do what was right for the students. I did have hope, though, because we had a cabinet shuffle, as you know. Mm-hmm. We had a new minister come into play, Minister Darin King, and I was hopeful. I was really hopeful that he was going to look at this with a fresh set of eyes. He was going to look at the many problems that have been identified. He was going to listen to the parents, to the students, to the teachers, and he was going to have a sober second look at it. And but Pete, you know, I went in the House Assembly today. I asked some legitimate questions on this issue, and all I got from the minister was, quite frankly, a bunch of double talk and insults and personal shots and so on. And it's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate that Minister King, no different than Minister Jackman before him, is not prepared to have a look at this and do what's right for the students of Mount Pearl. And I'm very upset about it. But I've got news for Minister King and the government. And that news is very simple, that I will continue, on behalf of the people who I represent, I will continue to ask questions, I will continue to present petitions, and I will continue to bring profile to this issue until somebody in there finally decides that they're going to listen and do what's right for the children. And I make no apologies for standing up for the people in my district. And if Minister King thinks I'm going away, he's sadly mistaken.
Well, they both say that it's not right for them to interfere with the power of the school boards, that it's their jurisdiction, and if they were to step in now, then essentially the role that these people fill is made a mockery of and made obsolete. I know it's been done in the past, it's been done before, perhaps that was a mistake then, but there is a precedent, and they say that it's not on, that they're going to let the people charged with holding this decision-making power make it, and so be it.
Well, Pete, it's very unfortunate that they're taking that approach, and you're right, it has been done in the past. Interestingly, it was done at Leo Burke Academy during a by-election. That was interesting timing in the past. Yeah. But, Pete, that being said, one of the problems we have here, though, as I've maintained from day one, is that the board they were handcuffed by the fact that there was no financial flexibility provided to them in order to look at more realistic options. And so, therefore, they were forced to basically get into a situation where they're going to jam children into every possible bit of space. And if that means, as we see at St. Peter's Elementary, where we're seeing kids eating lunch at the desk and doing gym class and doing music class in the cafeteria, losing computer rooms, losing libraries, and so on. And now, with this decision, not only will that problem remain for St. Peter's Elementary, now we've heard that they're going to start chopping up specialty space at Newtown as well. So now we're going to start destroying two schools, instead of one school. So I think it's absolutely shameful, and I think, and I'm not necessarily suggesting, that the minister has to make the ultimate decision as to what the solution is. What I'm saying, what I've called on from day one, is to the minister to provide some funding, to go back to the board and say, look, if I were to provide you some financial flexibility, given the fact that we know that full-day kindergarten is coming into play and so on, and there's going to have to be expansions made, capital expansions and so on looked at anyway, why not go back to the board and say, look, we are prepared to give you some financial flexibility to look at better options, and options that give children not just the appropriate classroom space that they require for their normal classes, but also to ensure that they have a proper gymnasium, a proper music room, a proper computer lab, a library. What is wrong with that? Our children deserve no less. And, Pete, I had a young student, I just want to mention, I had a young student who presented me yesterday with a petition. He was a grade 4 student at Newtown Elementary, and he took the initiative to go door to door, and he got 250 signatures, and he is the reason. He is the reason why I will continue on. Him and his classroom is about the children. This is children. This is not units, as sadly we now refer to teachers as units. They're not human beings anymore. They're units. Well, these are not units. These are our children, and we have to do what's best for them, and I will continue to fight for them.
I just wanted to make the point that we can't imply that given the flexibility that comes with some budgetary easing there, so they have some resources to deal with, doesn't necessarily mean that the people who make the decision are going to reverse it. There perhaps are other factors to take into account as well, right?
Well, Pete, the bottom line is that I believe that there is a capital solution there, but that being said, the bottom line is we don't know what other options there are, and that's been the problem since day one. If the financial resources were there, then other options could be explored, and we could determine if there are better options, and that's what I'm asking to happen. Pete, before I go, because I know I've taken a lot of time, I just want to say one final thing, that Minister King, while he did say, and I was kind of confused by this comment, while he did indicate that he was going to stick by the board's decision and so on, which means status quo, he did say, though, he said, I'm willing to meet with parents. If parents want to meet with me to discuss this and so on, I will meet with anyone who wants to meet with me. So with that said, I'm going to encourage parents, as I have in the past, first of all, to email the minister to, let him know what your concerns are. Fill up the email box, and it's darinking@gov.nl.ca. This is all public information, by the way. And if he's so willing to meet with any parents who wants to meet with him, his office number is 729-5040, and I encourage parents to call his office and arrange a meeting to sit down with him, because he committed in the House Assembly he would meet with parents. So let's see if he was serious about that commitment or not.
All right, sir. I appreciate your call, and let me know if anything comes out of your encouraging people to join with you in fighting this battle.
Thank you, Pete. As I said, this is all about the children, and we have to stand up for them. And even though Minister King and this government may not be concerned, as many of us are, about their education, I certainly am as their MHA, and I will fight for them.
All right, sir. Thanks again.
Thank you, Pete. You have a great afternoon.
Right on.
Okay, bye.
I can just imagine the minister's bristling at the notion that he's not concerned about the children. But anyway, there you have it. You have any response to that, by all means, give us a call.